Hi, my name is Alex Ramey. I'm the owner of Portland Event Films, and today I want to talk to you about the questions that we get asked most common in our meetings. So the purpose of this video is to cut down our meeting time, answer a lot of those pre-meeting questions to make sure that we are a good fit for you as a couple. I would obviously like to film your guys' wedding, but it just depends on my clients and what they're looking for. And my biggest priority is not to sell you a package, but to make sure that it is a really good fit, so that way you guys have a really good wedding experience. So first question is, what is your style? So for my company personally, I like to think of us as like a fly on the wall. I don't want to be up in your guys' face. I want this to be as natural as possible. I want to be as far back as possible for you guys to not even notice that we are there. We'll usually rely on the photographer and their team to come up with the timeline and just kind of document the day as it flows naturally. There are some times where we like to step in and do some things for like sunset or like card readings. You know, it just depends on my clients and what they're looking to do and what they're looking for in a final product. Now, as far as the color grading process goes, I'm really big on really saturated images. I like a lot of high contrast. Sometimes I'll do a dark and moody depending on my clients and what they're looking for. But these are all things that we like to go over in the pre-production meeting to find out what your guys' style is, what your taste, what you're looking for. I like to have, dynamic colors, a lot of color separation, and a lot of saturation. Please make sure to go on my YouTube channel, on my website, and see some examples of some of our work. So that way you have a good understanding of what our films look like. A lot of them are the same as far as key moments, different events that are happening. The color grade is pretty consistent. So just depending on what you're looking for, just make sure that you communicate that in our meeting. Do you shoot full wedding videos or just highlight films? Now, this really just depends on my individual clients, but in our meeting, I'll get a good sense of what you're looking for in an overall product. Now, this could be short Instagram clips. This could be a highlight film in flavors of 3 to 4 minutes, 5 to 6, 7 to 8. And then from there, we have the documentary edit. Most commonly, people are going to get a 5 to 6 minute highlight film, and they're either going to add a full ceremony sometimes, if it's a long ceremony, full speeches. Now, if I'm having Hindu wedding or a Chinese wedding or Japanese wedding, it's a little bit more culture, a little bit more family importance. So it just depends on your style and what you're looking for. So what is included in the package? So each package is either going to come with 1, 2 or 3 different videographers depending on your needs and what we're looking to do. So for an example, a lot of times the bride will get ready off-site at an Airbnb, groom will be on site. So we'll send one videographer with the brides, usually a female, and then we'll have a male videographer, myself, go with the groomsmen. And most of our packages are going to come with 4 different cameras. So that way for like the ceremony, we can get the bride side, the groom side, one going down, and then also reactions of the people that are sitting at the ceremony or during the speeches. We can get crowd reactions. So we usually bring 4 different cameras, so that way we can get different angles. So it gives us options when we're creating a video. And so our package will come by default with 8 hours as a minimum. You guys can add on to that as you see needed. You will get a digital link of the final product. You'll also be able to review the video on a digital link. And then once the video is done, we will send you that clip. So all packages will include a highlight film. Some clients will choose to add a full ceremony. They'll add a rehearsal dinner, full speeches. Some of our packages do include these. A lot of times clients will want to purchase raw footage. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. But by standard, it will come with at least a highlight film. And then we'll take that highlight film and then separate it into Instagram clips for you guys to share. Each one of these are about a minute long. Now, it usually takes about 8 weeks before we have a video for you to review. But once that video is reviewed, approved, then we'll create your full highlight film as a final product, and then we'll break that into shorter clips for you guys to share on Instagram in that vertical format. So how we capture audio from the ceremony and speeches, a couple different ways. We like to at least have probably 2 to 3 different sources to record from. So we usually take a field recorder, hook it into the DJ setup, and then this is going to record all the audio that's coming from the microphones. So whether the officiant has a lapel or a handheld. The groom will usually have a microphone on for the ceremony. And then for the speeches, you probably use handheld microphones. Now, the thing is, the audio quality coming off these microphones is only as good as the microphone. So if you have a venue or a DJ that has cheap equipment that cuts in and out, all those imperfections are going to come across in your wedding video. This is why we suggest hiring our DJ company, which is called DJ Cut Entertainment. So that way we can make sure that we have high quality audio. Please watch some of my videos and pay attention to the audio. I have a background in sound engineering, so audio quality is huge for me. But also we will have recorders that we'll put on the bride, the groom, and the officiant. So that way it's our backup recording, and it usually sounds a little bit better because the microphone is a little bit closer to the mouth. And that is how we capture high quality audio. We also have onboard mics that are on the cameras. That doesn't sound good, but we can use that as a fallback. Really good for ambient sound or if we have a big group. Now, I'll always use audio from like the first look, or if you guys are doing private vows, card reading. So I like to cover, in our production meeting, what other events we're doing throughout the wedding, when are we going to speaking, what's going to happen during those events. So that way we're prepared. So that way we don't do the grand entrance and then all of a sudden you guys pull out, well, we're ready to do the card readings and we don't have microphones on you. So we want to put microphones on you while you're using them and then take them off. So that way you're not walking around with them and they're not in all your pictures. And then for backup audio, when we use a handheld microphone, we like to put a little recorder that slides on the microphone. So that way we can get a backup of the speeches. We'll also hook a recorder that is into the DJ setup. And then we'll put a microphone in front of the speaker also as well to be able to capture the audio. So like I said, I usually like to have at least 2 to 3 different sources to pick up audio. So that way we have backups just in case. So on the day of the wedding, depending on your package, so we usually like to have 2 videographers for our 5 to 6 minute highlight film. This will include somebody to operate a drone beforehand. Then we'll have a female to go with bridesmaids. And then we'll also have myself or a male to go with the groomsmen. So that way it's comfortable as you guys are getting dressed and change. So a lot of times we either have the groom or the brides that will get ready offsite. So we like to know this in our proposal meeting. So that way we can have a package that includes offsite recording. And so that way we'll send somebody with the bridesmaids, usually getting ready, and then they'll come in like right before the wedding. And then we'll have somebody there with the groomsmen already getting all that footage. We like to have as many videographers as photographers. It's really hard when you have like one videographer and 2 photographers, so they're doing stuff separate, where we can only be in one spot at one time. So that's why we like to have a standard of 2 videographers. Not always possible, but it just depends on the package and what you guys got going on and how tight the quarters are. But it's really nice to be able to get footage from 2 different locations or 2 different angles. Now during the ceremony, we'll have a videography that'll be up front, getting everybody walking in, and then we'll have our other videographer being able to check the cameras that are on the outside and then also be on a gimbal, so that way we can track you guys as you're walking in. And it's a really cool angle for the video, especially for the ceremony. I like to get the reaction of the groom, and then we'll have like the bride walking in. So if we don't have 2 different cameras or 2 different videographers, it's really hard to capture all that because it's moving so fast of everybody walking in, the reaction and changing and moving out of the way. So there's a lot going on there. So that's why we like to have at least 2 videographers for all of our packages. So as far as equipment backups, we like to bring 4 to 5 different cameras with us. We usually have 8 or 9 different lenses. Our audio kit will include 3 to 4 different lapels, audio recorders. I am a huge fan of bringing backup equipment. I will also record the video on 2 different SD cards. Then when I get home, I like to copy the footage in multiple different places. Question that people ask me a lot is, have you worked at my venue before? So this really just depends on each individual client and their venue. Obviously, I haven't worked at every venue in the Oregon and Washington area, but most of them I have. Now, if I haven't worked at your venue before, I like to go out to the venue, check it out, see where we're gonna be doing the first look, what the reception looks like, what the lighting for the room room is, where the bridal suites are, where everybody's getting ready, how much natural light do we have. So most wedding venues I've been to, but if I haven't been there, I definitely would like to go out there, schedule a time to do a site walk or at least like a video chat so I can get an idea of the scope of the project and where everything is going to be laid out. We don't charge extra for this. I like to be prepared so that way when I get there, there is no surprises. Do I work with other photographers and other vendors? So me personally, I also have a DJ company that I like to work with. I love it when I can get my DJ company and my videography company at the same wedding, because for video, it's all about lighting and audio. So if I don't have good microphones and good lighting for the room, it can really have a really big impact on the overall product that I deliver to you guys. Now, I love working with photographers that I've worked with in the past. If you're looking for photographers, I do have a vendor list. We do offer some photography on our website, but it really just depends on my clients and what they're looking for. But I really try really hard to get along with photographers, because the overall end of the day, my job, and I feel the photographer's job, is make this a good experience for my bride and groom. Weddings are already very stressful. There's nothing worse than I have the bride walking down the aisle, I'm about to get a good shot, and the photographer steps right in front of the camera and blocks it. You have a great photo, but it's not going to look good on the video. And so the biggest thing for me is making sure that we have good communication. I like to meet with my photographer as soon as they get on site, go over how we're going to set up for our speeches, how we're going to set up for the ceremony. And I try to be as flexible as possible so that I can make sure that you guys get the best photos and then also the best video product that I can produce for you guys. So it's really important for me to be flexible and try to get along with your photographers and any other vendors as best as possible. How do we handle low light situations? So it just depends on the type of venue and what we got working with. So I have a background in audio engineering. I also have a DJ company. And so lighting is really huge. So usually what I like to do is have uplights around the outside to cover the walls. And then wherever we have speakers or dance party, I like to put spotlights on the dance floor, and it just makes the room pop. I'm really big on lighting design, and it's really important to make sure that we create the right element, because a lot of venues it's either too dark and we need to add some light, or it's way too much light. So a lot of times we like to go into venues, bring the lights down, if not turn them off, and then add supplemental lighting that we can control and make everything look dynamic. I love tungsten lights, but when I get to venues where all the lights are tungsten, it just makes your skin look orange and it just does not look good. So I'm really big on making sure that the room is lit properly. A lot of clients want to know about picking out music for their wedding film. Do we let them pick out? Do we pick out? So usually we pick out all the music for the wedding. We like to find out what pace of the video you want, what style. Now I can send you to our site where we get royalty-free music. So when we have like the first dance, father, daughter, mother, son, we'll mute all the music that happens at the wedding unless you have like a live singer. And then we'll add our royalty-free music. And like I said, we'll use the style and the pace that you are looking for. Now, when we give you a video, the first round of revision, you guys can ask for a song change, but usually we don't like to change the song too much because the whole video is edited to the beat of the music and the best parts of it. And so we'll have to do a lot of reshuffling around, but you will have some creative freedom when we're putting together that first round of revisions for you guys to review. So delivery time is going to be dependent on the product that you guys ordered from us, also the time of year. But as a default, we like to shoot for 6 weeks till we have the first round of revisions that you guys give. And then we like to deliver the final product about 8 weeks after the wedding. But sometimes it could take up to 3 months to give you a final product, depending if it's a highlight film, a full documentary. But we like to have something for you to at least review 6 weeks after the wedding was captured. Now it just depends on individual client and what we have going on. So there's a couple things that will factor that time in. Each round of revision will push out the final product. So if we send you a video, 6 weeks, we have one round of revision. It's usually about another 10 days. You get that back. You want some more changes, it'll be another 10 days. And then we send you the third and final round. If you have some more changes from there, then it'll be another couple days or couple weeks before we get you the final product. So when we say delivery between 6 weeks and 3 months, it's going to be dependent on when we deliver that first round and then the revision process. Most times than not, we send out the first round and there's just a few changes, and then we're able to deliver your final video a few short weeks. After that, it will be sent to you in a download link via email. Do offer raw footage as a add-on. Most people inquire about raw footage. We explain what it is, and most of the times people do not end up purchasing it, but it really just depends on my clients, what they're looking for and what they're looking to do. So raw footage is going to almost come back black and white. Here's an example of what raw footage looks like. Then you'll need to add the audio into that, and then you'll also need to have a pretty powerful computer to edit this footage. It's not like cell phone footage. So I want to explain that, make sure that that's clear so you know exactly what you are purchasing, because it does take a lot of processing to be able to take it from a raw footage into a polished product. So, but it just depends on my clients. Sometimes I work with people that have a background in media and they're easy to manipulate that footage and put it into the product that they're looking for. And a lot of times it's just little moments that don't make it into the highlight film or the final product, and they want to have those keepsakes later on. So it really just depends on my clients and what they're looking to do with that footage. But you do have the right to buy that footage, and what you're doing is you're purchasing the access to do whatever you want with that footage. So to make your wedding film unique, I like to meet with you guys, find out the different events that we're going to be doing throughout the day, so that way we can make sure to capture all those moments. I like my film to be as organic as possible. This is why I don't like to do a lot of staging and here, lean this way, look this way. I'll leave that up to the photographer and then just, capture it as it is. I think the more natural you can be on film, the better the video is going to be. But I do like some surprise moments that happen at every wedding. But I do like to do card readings. I do like to do gift exchanges. I do like private vows where it's just the two of you. One of my favorite things to do is have my bride and groom be on like the opposite sides of a corner where they're holding hands, but they can't see each other for the first look. Read the vows privately to each other and then do the first look. So that's one of my favorite things to do at weddings. I know a lot of people like to say the first look for the ceremony, but I like to meet with you, find out exactly what you're looking for in your wedding video, so that way we can personalize it. Now, after the wedding is done, I like to have a meeting with you and talk about what you would like to see in a final product. So be like, now that the day is over, what parts do you want to include? What parts do you want to leave out? So it really just depends on my individual clients and what they're looking for. A lot of clients just say, hey, we trust you to make a video. We like the pace of this. Here's some things that we want to see in it. And usually that's more than efficient, but it really just depends on my individual clients and kind of like what they're looking for. My name is Alex from Portland Event Films. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to reach out before the meeting. But if not, really looking forward to meeting you guys. Thank you.